guys. This is not the video I meant to record. I'm just going to put that out there. I meant to do the next part of the HaloPSA training implementation guide for those who are doing it yourself or those who are looking to learn more about how I do implementations or just learn more about Halo. Unfortunately, it's a lot of work to get into that headspace, and I'm just not in it right now. So instead, I'm going to show off something else related to Halo. Something that I think more people will find interesting, maybe, or fun. It was definitely fun for me to build it out. And I'm talking about using OpenAI inside of the HaloPSA portal chat, beyond just a back and forth conversation. I'm actually talking about wrapping every interaction, or almost every interaction with the bot through OpenAI's response. And so, with that being said, I'm not going to bother waxing poetic around the high level. I'm just going to jump right into my screen share, and we will dive right in. So this is my production system where I play with all the fun things, and we're going to jump into the chat, which we can get to right here, or we can search for it, but it is literally right here. So we're going to open up our chats, and you can see that right now the self-service portal chat profile is configured for a profile that I called OpenAI Chat. And we're going to go dive into what that looks like. I do have a show new chat bubble. I've got the new live chat. This is the agent side settings. There's not much here that I'm going to mess with. We are using WebSockets, the newer version for message delivery. And we are allowing image and upload attachments by default to only be for logged in users. We don't want someone who's not logged in to be able to start uploading malicious stuff or anything like that. So let's go take a look at our chat profiles and see how we're configured. Under the OpenAI chat, I do have anonymous authentication enabled, and which does allow me to then embed this on my website so that the chat feature will exist on the website. I'm still debating on whether or not I want to do that. But we'll see what happens for right now. I do have the whitelisted cores domains for my website if I do want to do that. But again, for right now, we're just going to leave that alone. On this page, we've got some customizations that we can perform. I'm changing the primary color to be the action color. This is my branded color of my call to action color. So I'm doing that. My theme is dark. And if you've watched my other AI videos, or if you've watched my Ninja 1 webinar about AI that I was on with a few other people, you'll know that the AI bot that interacts on behalf of Rising Tide has been coined with the name Snarkbot. And that is because it is super snarky, sometimes to the point of being rude accidentally. But thankfully, it's not me doing it, it's just Snarkbot. And so, it's AI, what are you going to do? I'm going to edit it so we can dive in, and we'll take a look at some more things. I do have it showing up as a bubble instead of a message box. We could assign different bubble pop-up messages based off of the URL. So I can come in here and add a different message based off the URL that's being hit, because you can have a custom, you can have multiple self-service portals. And so you can literally design different experiences for people based off which portal they're hitting. So we're not going to configure that. I only have one portal in my case. We're going to leave that unchecked. And you can see I've already got my snarky attitude, smirk face emoji configured in here. And then if we want to change the chat icon URL, we can specify URL to that icon, and we can adjust that size. Finally, we got some settings for the bot itself. Let's go ahead and collapse the chat, and we'll collapse the embed. And so now we're looking at just the bot settings. We've got Snarkbot as the name. We've got some live chat settings in terms of users will see the following name next to the messages sent by agents. So if someone does do a live chat and it connects to me or someone on my team, right now it's just me, but coming soon, March 1st. Thank you, Elle, for joining. We can have it display the agent's name instead of a fixed name, or we can have it display a fixed name and choose what that name is. I'm going to do the agent's name in this case. And then finally, upon ticket creation, we can decide to log a ticket automatically when the chat ends, or only log a ticket if configured in the bot flow. And so we're not capturing everything, we're only capturing a ticket in the event they choose to capture a ticket. And then we can also request one-click feedback, and we can provide before and after feedback if we want. This is currently off. I don't know what that does, and maybe I'll turn it on in the end. But for right now, I haven't bothered playing with that too much. All right, so this covers the basic setup for the chat bot profile. Now let's talk about the flow. So in here, we can see that basically this is very similar to a workflow, ticket workflow or custom runbook or anything like that that you're going to build, where we decide actions to perform based off of logic that's happening. So my first question is the guy logged in? Is whoever's on my portal, are they authenticated or not? If they're authenticated, I'm going to a welcome screen. If they're not authenticated, I want to ask them for their information. Now, remember how I said that I'm actually using OpenAI to interact heavily with the user. I'm not just using the built-in functionality and messaging and then only sending to OpenAI when necessary. What we can see is that upon the condition being met, it actually skips the ask for full name action and goes straight down to here. So everything up here is only if they're not logged in, then we want to ask them for their name. And you can kind of see how I'm setting the tone. The first thing I'm doing is I'm generating a response to OpenAI, and I'm saying, you know, this is what I'm sending to OpenAI. I'm instructing it how to interact with the user. So I'm not typing a message here that's going to show up. I'm only sending a message to OpenAI to say what message you should respond to. So like, whoa, hey now, you're Snarkbot from Rising Tide, the friendly, snarky mascot AI assistant of Rising Tide. Maybe we should put a space here and here. But who is this guy? Ask them for their name. Make sure we get both a first and last name. In the event the OpenAI response fails, then I want to send a message back to the user. And in that case, I'm just sending, can you provide your first and last name? So pretty simple. Ideally, what happens is this succeeds, OpenAI will interact and go like, wow, okay, and send some sort of snarky greeting, asking them for their first and last name. And then upon getting their name, we're going to move in both a successful or unsuccessful result. We're going to move to get name, at which point we are going to ask for a user display name. The field is going to be where the username is going to go, but I'm not providing a message here because the message is already given by the OpenAI prompt before. So I'm kind of abstract, and normally this would be the only action that you do, and you would include the message saying, please enter your first name and last name, or something like that. It's a very static kind of greeting. I'm using the OpenAI to remove the message from the normal action and prefix that action with OpenAI's response. And then once the input's completed, I'm moving to the next step, which is then going to say, okay, let's generate another response. Like, okay, cool, we got the name. What's their email address? Now, OpenAI gets a little picky when you start asking for sensitive information. The first time I did this, it started flooding me with like, well, we have some PII concerns. We've got compliance issues. Like, where is it going? How is this being stored? And this was being sent to the user on the portal. So I was like, okay, well, we need to address that. So I've added some additional details so that it doesn't freak out on the user when it's told to ask for the email address. And in the event it fails, again, I'm just providing a friendly message. Great, thanks. Can you provide your email address so we can match you in our system? And then again, I'm going to the collect the email address thing. Once I have that, I go to collect email address. It's the exact same kind of input based off a field of user email address. We're not putting a message, and we are then sending you to the welcome. So these 4 things basically set the tone as to how I'm interfacing OpenAI. Anything that's talking to the user, essentially, or as much as I can, I want it filtered through OpenAI. Not every step has been tested. I started building it, confirmed it worked the way I thought it would, and then built out the rest of it without testing. So this video is actually live. The first time we're going to demo it live to make sure it works the way I expect it to. So with that being said, upon collecting the email address, we then go into the beginning, where if you're already authenticated, it's just going to dump you right into this action. And again, it's an OpenAI response where I'm instructing OpenAI how to interact. With that being said, we move over to the begin section. And the begin section is basically just the ability for them to send a message. I'm not asking for a selection of what they want to do. It's literally just, hey, do you want to talk to OpenAI and create a message on something? Now, this is where it kind of gets a little tricky, because one of the things I wish Halo can do, which it can't do right now, is to be able to have OpenAI respond back with a JSON object of some kind, which that can happen, and then have the chatbot flow detect which what's in that response and then route based off of object value. And so, for example, if AI determines that the request being put in freeform text is to create a ticket, I can return a response where action equals create ticket, and then look for action, and if it equals create ticket, move it over to the next step. Kind of similar to how selections go on the menus. If I jump ahead, we've got this selection choice. So we can say selection and then provide names of those selections and where to go based off each one being chosen. I would like to have something similar where we can have the selection based off of the value of a response from OpenAI, so that it can route properly to the chatbot through literally just a freeform chat to get like true AI intelligence onto the chat. In this case, it doesn't do that, so it's just an open conversation with AI. Upon that conversation happening, AI is going to return a response based off the input. So this is my prompt. As Snarkbot, let's go ahead and respond at the end. Make sure to prompt them to see what they like to do now. And then if it fails, this is an older message. I should probably replace it to make it more friendly if I'm putting it live on my website. But if it fails, I'm responding back, just basically calling their question really stupid. And then telling them they can't generate an answer and move on to the next step. The next step is a route selection. And so they've got two options here at this point. They can just continue to chat with AI, and so they can literally just continue having a conversation with Snarkbot if they want to. Or they can look at other options at this point. If they're looking at other options, we want to log a ticket. That's the first step. So upon logging a ticket, we're going to walk them through logging a ticket. This is a new action that exists. This is not in the original or earlier versions. This is only in the latest stable and later, where we can walk them through logging a ticket. And essentially the bot will be given inputs for each field on a ticket type sequentially, and then a ticket will be logged with these values. And so you don't have to build out a prompt for each field. The system does it automatically just by doing walkthrough logging a ticket. Now, the way this works is if we were to go look at a ticket type, so if I open up tickets and then go to ticket types and go into any one of these tickets, so for example, test support, that did not work. Either way, alert works too. We can come in here and we can configure a chat input message, and it's going to read the input message. So this is going to be the message that we're going to put in for each of these fields, and that's going to be what's listed or asked for when the chat gets used and runs through that log ticket, walking through a ticket step. And so once the ticket's logged, we're going to say, thanks, first name, we've logged your ticket. Your request ID is fault ID. And then upon we do that, we're going to go ahead and send an Azure response, OpenAI response again, saying, wow, look at that, successful ticket's been logged. I'm having OpenAI generate a response based off of this prompt. And then if it fails to respond, I need to go ahead and put a different message here. So it looks like I didn't finish all the different areas, but we'll come back to that. If a ticket fails to log, we are going to say that the ticket failed. And we're going to say, please hold on for other options. Now, I could generate another AI response for that, but there really isn't a need. It can get kind of like too much AI at some point. So we're going to go ahead and send it straight to the options here. And then here they have the option to basically start over. They can continue Snarkbot chat, or they can talk to an agent, end the chat completely, or do a search of the knowledge base. If they were to search the knowledge base, we're going to go ahead and perform a KB search based off of the last input. And so the last input is going to go way back to probably here. We're going to search the knowledge base based off here. We can do different things. We can prompt them for what they want to search for, and then do that search or something like that. And then upon that being done, we're going to go ahead and move to the AI prompt. And so the AI prompt over here is going to return a response basically saying, here's the KB search. it was successful or not successful or something like that, based off of the results that are returned. Now, the reason why this works is because the AI OpenAI endpoint will read the entire chat history from the chatbot. So it should have all the context of selections that are made and of KBs that are returned or not returned or anything like that. Any of the responses from other actions should be read by OpenAI, and it should be able to continue the conversation and make it kind of seamless, which is one of the things that I didn't know originally that made me realize, like, once I learned that, I was like, wow, I can actually make this an AI bot, so to speak. Semi-intelligent, not completely intelligent AI bot. So now that we've walked this through and seen how to do that, I'm going to go ahead and save my changes, and we're going to go and demonstrate how this looks. So I'm going to just refresh my portal, and we can see we've got a, hey, I'm Snarkbot smirk face down where my face is. Give me 1 second, and we will move my face so that, there we go. I'm just going to move it up. Perfect. All right, because that's going to get in the way otherwise. So with that being said, we have this Snarkbot, hey, I'm Snarkbot down here, and I can click on it, and it's going to open up Snarkbot Help, and we can see that the very first thing that's going to happen is OpenAI is going to respond saying, hey there, sincerest apologies as I seem to have lost my connection to humanity's extended memory, also known as a database. Mind assisting this humble Snarkbot and telling me your full name, both first and last, please. And so I can do like Mendy Green and press enter. Now it doesn't know who I am, but if it did, it might come up with a response of like, hey, admin, or welcome admin, or something like that if it knew who I was. That'd be kind of funny to add in, but in this case, it just thinks I'm every other user, and so it wants like, I appreciate your corporation. I also need your email address to make sure we can recognize you in our system. No worries, your details will be safe as my snarky secrets. And so here I'll do like Mendy@MendyOnline.com, and we'll go ahead and submit. And now it's going to come back and give me the welcome greeting based off of who I am. We're all peasants here at Rising Tide. Welcome to our humble kingdom. Brace yourself for a wild ride of snarky responses, worthless advice, and bewilderingly useless purchase suggestions. You're going to love it here. Trust me, I'm a robot. So I'm going to send a message back. Hi, robot. How can you help me with my MSP needs when I'm using things like Roost or HaloPSA? And it's going to return a response based off what I said. And then upon that, I can continue the chat once it's done, or I can look at other options. Mendy, a user of Roost and HaloPSA, I see. Well, let's be honest. There really isn't a heap of products or services out there that can seamlessly handle all of your MSP needs. But what we can do here at Rising Tide is strive to fill in the gaps and provide you with robust services where the others fall short. Look, I may be a tad snarky, but when it comes to our goal of supporting MSP needs, we're as serious as the blue screen of death. So whether it's more efficient data management, response times for your customers, or just maintaining overall systems health, we've got your back. Welcome to your new solution. What's the first thing you'd like us to tackle? And so from there, we can do continue Snarkbot chat, or we can let's look at other options. I'm going to go ahead and look at other options. And so then it's going to ask, are you a new or existing client? And so this is literally being asked based off of the ticket that is being submitted, right? So if I report an issue here, notice that the first thing it asks is, are you a new or existing client? I'm going to go ahead and choose I'm a new client. And it's going to come back and say, okay, what's your contact name? This is funny, actually. It's asking for a field that I don't want to be filled in because I have this banner here. So that's kind of cool. I kind of have to ignore that. I'm just going to send back a line. And now it's asking for my phone number, which is not on here. Some of these things need to be cleaned up, it looks like. Let's just do 111. Let's filter our options down. What exactly are we looking for? Which is over here. So it skipped all the company details, which is interesting. I got contact name, email address, contact title, company and time zone. How did you hear about us? And it skipped straight down to here. So let's go ahead and choose looking for support. And then it should give us, okay, looking for support with what? And notice that it's actually giving me all of the options instead of just, like if I go to consulting, I've got consulting options. If I go to support, I've got support options. It's giving me all of them as opposed to just the support one that it should have given me. So there's three support options, and the dynamic choice, support Hoodoo, licensing Hoodoo, support escalations. It's not properly filtering based off dynamic visibility. So that's going to be a ticket I raise with Halo as well. Let's go ahead and choose support escalations. And now it's asking, what are you looking for? And let's go ahead and enter that. So I give a very vague help message, basically. I need help with some things, more or less. Thanks, Mindy. We've logged your ticket. Your request ID is 1319. And then we should be getting a response from Snarkbot saying, all right, Mindy, your ticket is in. The number is 1319. Our technical experts will be right on it, like white on rice. Or if you happen to love other grains more, like brown on barley, either way, you're in good hands. Anything else you want to throw our way before we say our digital goodbyes? And at that point, we can end the chat. We can talk to an agent. We can start over. We can continue the Snarkbot chat. Snackbot, wow. Or we can search the KB. So let's go ahead and hit the search KB and see what comes up. Unfortunately, we couldn't find any articles. And so then we are going to get the AI response basically saying no articles were found at this point. So we probably need to find a way to narrow down that filter. And then we can see Snarkbot's response. I've rifled through our vast brain bank, also known as knowledge base, even had a good moan at it for not cooperating, but I'm afraid I haven't found any sneaky snippets or wise words related to your issue. Feels like you stumped the Snarkbot today. Definitely deserves a medal or a cake, but sadly I can't send it either. No worries though, our Wizardly Geek Squad has your issue well in hand. We'll have you sorted out quicker than you say Rising Tide rocks. Is there anything else you might want help with? Remember, I'm always waiting for your next curveball. So in this case, I'm going to end the chat. And my next steps, like I know now that I've tested it, my next steps that I have to work with are basically to enhance searching the knowledge base, kind of see how that goes, try to enhance the ticket logging so that the questions are more seamless and more accurate, or maybe come up with a different ticket type to use instead of this one so that it's more geared towards the chat and chat questions instead of a dynamic form, essentially. Now, if we were to go look at that ticket, so we have our ticket number that was down here as 1319, right? So if we go into here, we can see we got the prompt, ticket's been reassigned. We can go ahead and open that up. And what we should see is that came through as Michael George, mendy@mendyline.com. That is the correct email address and contact name, although it came through as an opportunity. And here's the chat message that hit, and then we've got the Snarkbot email that went out. Thanks for reaching out. Your message has about as much detail as my online dating profile. Looking for love with someone who has a pulse. Could we jog an extra mile with the info? Maybe ad-lib more about the technical items? Or flash me a hint about the technical expertise. It will make my digital life much more exciting and your solution crystal clear. Until you reply, here's a quick joke for you. Why don't we let computers take their coffee? Because it might just cause a bite. It might cause a bites, and they might get Java all over their hardware. I don't get this part. But I don't know, maybe I'm just reading it wrong. In any case, as we can see, the ticket does get logged. It goes through the normal workflow based off of the information that was sent, and it gets assigned correctly with the chat being embedded into the ticket. One participant, here's the full chat log, and so on and so forth. I hope this was interesting to you and kind of like cool to see how we can use multiple steps on the bot flow to kind of like sandwich the experience for the user, which is a consideration I hadn't thought of before, which is funny because, you know, I always talk about abstraction as the point of automation. And by abstracting things, you can do more with it. You make it more flexible, you make it more modular, which means greater automation, which means greater processes and more efficiency if you can sustain that. So anyways, let me know in comments below and tell me what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.